chat. What's going on with your jawline? Julian here from Jawline Theory. I wanted to talk a little bit about Julian Fitzgerald, the other Julian, and how people seem to be obsessed with this young man. He's really young. He's 19 years old, has a fantastic physique, a great bodybuilding future, but most importantly, he says he is natural, which I believe he is. But a lot of people don't, and they think that he is a fake, natty influencer, pretty much lying to people. So everyone's making videos about this kid, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they happen to be clout chasing. But aside from that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the kid and imagine what it's like to be him. 18, 19 years old, getting so much notoriety online. And most likely he probably reads the comments and he sees that a lot of people are accusing him of taking steroids. But let's play this out for a second. Imagine if he is natural. What's he supposed to do? I think we live in a day and age where nobody really cares whether or not you take PEDs. And I think he would probably admit it. And it's always the same usual suspects that have beef with him. You know, I'm not going to say who they are, but it always seems to be a particular demographic that has beef with Julian Fitzgerald's claim that he is natural. So go figure. I think the kid is gifted. He's got those round muscle bellies. I had done a video on genetics and the X-frame and having certain attributes of which he possesses. Now, there's some things I don't like about his physique, but overall, he has the ability to gain a lot of muscle. And it'll be really interesting to see how he develops as he ages and matures. I know right now he's doing a few collabs with Hammy Ranbod as well as Larry Wheel, so that's pretty cool. And that must be like a highlight for a young cat like that. But unfortunately, with that come the haters. So firstly, when it comes to his genetics, I think some people just respond better to natural training. Eating right, eating 5-6 meals a day, taking your 1 or 2 protein shakes per day, as well as embarking on a really good training program, specifically one geared for hypertrophy. For a lot of people, that is enough. I grew up around people from the Black community, specifically the Caribbean. They tend, I say they, but you know, I'm actually a part of that community. So we tend to have some really good genes. And so sometimes we wonder, what is it about certain people that makes them grow faster than others? And yes, I do think that certain people have the predisposition for what could be considered elite bodybuilding genetics. Julian Fitzgerald just happens to fit that mold. I know a lot of people get salty, they get upset, they get angry, but it's like, we probably shouldn't focus on Julian Fitzgerald. Focus on yourself, focus on your own training, ask yourself what you can and cannot do. You know, an old cat like me, I'm 49, I see it. I get it a lot at the gym. Older guys, even younger guys check me out. They wonder, and I'm sure they're wondering, is this guy natty or not? How long has he been training? That's irregardless. It doesn't matter. Focus on what you can do to improve your own physique. Now, admittedly, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, whenever I saw a guy who was in better shape than me, I always wondered, that person must be on gear. Why? Because I knew what I was doing to look the way I did. I was squatting my butt off, lifting heavy, eating a lot of food, scarfing down copious amounts of protein. And so I wonder if that person was doing the same. Truth is, maybe they weren't. Maybe they just had better genes, or maybe they had been training for a longer period of time. For instance, I remember being about 22, 23 years old. I had a good frame. I was about 220 pounds. Mind you, my body fat was a little heavy, but nonetheless, I had some size on me. And I remember seeing this older man at the gym who, at the time, he looked incredible. And I thought to myself, that guy must be on gear. Now that I'm the 49-year-old, I think he was 52 or something. Now that I'm 49, I find myself being in his shoes. And only now I can say, you know what? I can look back and say that guy must have been natural because he's put in the work, he's put in the time, he's put in the decades. And if I remember correctly, he probably looked a lot like me now. Maybe we're not as big as we were, but definitely, you know, we have some size that we've acquired over the years. And so I see this pattern reoccurring. So now I see younger guys who enter the gym who look at me And sometimes they often mean mug me. Sometimes it's just curiosity. But I'm sure many of them wonder, is that guy clean? Is that guy natty or not? It doesn't matter. I am, but still, they don't know that. So all this to say that sometimes you have to give people credit. You have to think about the passage of time. You got to think and be aware of their fitness journey. Maybe they've been doing something consistently. All right, this is something Mike O'Hearn says a lot. Doing the same thing day in, day out, over and over again. Eventually you get there, especially if you push every day, every single day you try to get better and better and better. Eventually you can look back and say, holy cow, I've come a long way. So anyways, I just want to hop on here and, maybe give our guy Julian Fitzgerald a break. All right. If you have any comments, leave them down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.